could the success of Candela Obscura lead to less Critical Role?
What did you say?
Candela Obscura is gearing up for a big second chapter starting in August, with a new cast and new guest stars, including Brennan Lee Mulligan, who we all know really moves those viewership numbers, and a plan to air the first episode in select Cinemark theaters. We also recently saw a Wired article discussing Critical Role's singular success in the actual play in tabletop space, with a quote from Marisha Ray talking about planning for legacy and longevity. "We're all getting old," Marisha said. "As we expand into new areas, we're also trying to nurture a new generation of people to handle it all and eventually succeed us and carry what we've created forward." Now, what Critical Role has done with their flagship show has been impressive, to say the least, with thousands of hours of content recording. Now, not only is Critical Role kind of living the tabletop RPG player's dream, playing with your best friends on a weekly basis for years, but they've also grown past just being a tabletop actual play show. They're now a full-fledged media franchise with animated shows and games and comics and novels and literally everything else you can think of. Heck, I think there's a Critical Role cookbook coming out soon. So, folks have wondered whether Critical Role would eventually add a second actual play campaign for years, but it seems that Candela Obscura actually represents the potential future of the franchise. Keeping Marisha's comments in mind, Candela Obscura seems to be the model moving forward, rotating cast members in and out, not only to prevent burnout, but also to expose new cast to the fan base and kind of, gauge reactions in a more friendly setting, and also provide valuable downtime to the longer-running cast members so they can work on other projects or, just enjoy their lives. Plus, Candela Obscura also potentially represents something else that could be important to Critical Role. A new IP, and a new income stream that they can build up, which, just happens to be 100% owned by the company. Now, of course, the world of Exandria is great and also owned 100% by Critical Role, but Candela Obscura has its own bespoke game system, a brand new world to explore, and conveniently has no connections to Dungeons & Dragons and all the baggage that comes with it, both positive and negative. Of course, the big question becomes whether Critical Role would look to expand Candela Obscura beyond its current monthly release. Would the continued success of Candela Obscura cause Critical Role to switch to a bi-weekly basis instead of, a monthly basis? Or could we see Critical Role look to replicate the success of Candela Obscura by looking to build up other programming, perhaps one that involves a certain Daggerheart game system, or maybe a different game system that we don't know about? But have that show have a rotating cast and also a monthly schedule. Because if Candela Obscura is proving successful, why not try another show in a different format, like perhaps something sci-fi or a fantasy setting completely different from Exandria? As Marisha said in the article, they are looking to build a legacy and usher in a new generation. And the more options you have, the likelier it is to really take off and become a major boost to the Critical Role empire, so to speak. And if Critical Role does look to expand their Critical Role, the flagship show programming, could this mean transitioning to making their core show a bi-weekly one? And Critical Role going bi-weekly could actually be a major positive for the main campaign as well, making it easier to keep up with those 100-episode story arcs by having more time in between episodes. It's a little bit easier to keep up with Critical Role if you're only watching a 4-hour show and have to get through it once every 2 weeks instead of literally every single week. Also, it might make the streams a little bit more enticing, as viewers will have more time to get caught up with the latest happenings in the campaign. Also, reducing the supply of episodes to every other week can increase the demand to see them, which could mean bigger streaming numbers on Twitch and YouTube. We've talked for a while that Critical Role is transitioning to a new phase. What that new phase means for the Critical Role programming we all know and love will be interesting, as will how Critical Role continues to grow and expand, with a bigger cast pool, more shows, more opportunities, and a potential changing of the guard in the future. Are you excited for Candela Obscura Chapter 2? Let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.